Hello and welcome to another update on Strategy Inc. Yesterday we looked at the larger time frame. In detail. So if you're interested in that, I would recommend you check out yesterday's video as well. It might be linked at the end of the video, but you find it on the channel as well. Therefore, today, because we covered that really in depth yesterday, we want to take a look at the shorter time frame today. Because you might remember from yesterday, the price had reached our resistance area here, right? The price reached our resistance after a breakout to the upside. So the idea was over the last few days, we've been covering MSTR here nearly daily. The idea was, look, we have a bounce. Okay, that bounce might be at least wave 2, a corrective bounce in a 1-2 setup to the downside, which could lead to lower prices, but that's not set in stone, or carved in stone rather, because if we break above resistance in the end, it's rather a breakout to new highs. I explained all that yesterday. Today, I think I want to just focus here on the shorter time frame, but for context, it's important to understand that we should be at least in wave 2, which means I would prefer that we at least get a larger bounce here, yeah, just because this is important support. I mean, this area around $271.70 is strong support. We also have trend line support, where the previous trend line that kept the price down, we broke above, now we retest. So there is some strong support there. I mean, of course, now we have the pullback. This is now the test. There is a support area that's defined. We already have a mini reaction to it. Okay, so that's the one that we already talked about, between $291.55 and $276.93. This is our FIB support area. It's currently being tested. The price gives us a bounce. Okay, micro resistance is here. I added that earlier today as well. This is like the first resistance area to watch. It's between 295.94 and 302.86. It's a resistance area to watch. That if it's broken could indicate we're already starting the next leg up of this wave 2. So at the moment, I'm not even trying to differentiate or distinguish between the orange scenario and the white scenario. White is bullish, orange is essentially bearish, but potentially short-term bullish. And because in both of these scenarios, looking at these roadmaps, the price can go higher in the very short term, yeah, I think it doesn't really make sense to try to distinguish between them. It's more about, on this time frame, okay, can we get a broader ABC structure and then hold support, yeah, or do we break out directly? The main question here is, do the bulls show up before the price breaks below $276.93? That's a standard Fibonacci support zone measured based on this distance. And then if the pullback is corrective in nature, which at the moment it is, right? But I would prefer to see a broader ABC structure as shown here. Then we should see a bullish response to this support zone. Basically, we're now in a support area, or we arrived in a support area where the bulls could show up to start the next leg to the upside, start the next rally to the upside. But the bulls need to hold above the $276.93 level, or the pullback will become too deep for me to really call this a wave 2, yeah, or a wave B. Below that level, I mean, as long as it's not a decisive break, that might be acceptable, but the formal invalidation point for higher prices in this setup, we can call it an Elliott Wave setup, doesn't mean you have to trade it, right? It's just showing you structurally it's a setup. It's a first bounce, yeah, and then now this is a pullback. And in the bullish version here, bullish variation, bullish roadmap, this is a so-called 1-2 setup, and the more bearish one calls it an AB setup. But even then, we could go higher, even in this C wave, potentially towards the $325 level and $342 level. And this is the resistance which is based on the distance of the decline. So we know that downside pressure is easing should the market break above the 78.6 retracement, because this would be more than just a corrective bounce, yeah. It will then start to shift probabilities to a direct breakout. But we talked about that yesterday. In the very short term, therefore, I think the focus is on micro resistance between 295.94 and 302.86, and micro support, which as a key level at 276.93. So we might spend maybe a bit of time in this range, yeah, but you know now also what the breakout signals are, and especially if we move into this resistance area and then see an increase in upside momentum, that could signal a direct breakout to the upside. For now, I'm cautiously short-term bullish, but we might see a broader correction within those parameters that we defined here today. Yeah, that's the update on MSTR. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And yeah, if you appreciate the daily analysis, yeah, leave a thumbs up and let me know in the comments which other US assets you would like to see analyzed on this channel. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.